All right, with our cube created here, we've got our 12 inch by 12 inch by 12 inch cube. We're ready to start to make it look a bit like a dice. So, again, if you don't already have it up, I'm going to click over here on the right on scenes. And I'm going to just let's all click the front door of the house. And notice it's going to snap my drawing to that view. Now, I'm using my scroll wheel and I'm going to zoom in a bit. I think that works pretty well. I think it's two finger drag up and down on the screen, but it's pretty sensitive. Again, I think the scroll wheel on a mouse is going to make your life, again, so much easier. I'll use the H key to hand just to kind of, position it so that I can like maximize my workspace as best I can. I know your Chromebook screens are small, so if you need just to kind of minimize that so you've got more real estate to work with, by all means. Okay, so on this side of the dice, we're going to put the one. All right, so that just that one single hole, and this is a great place to start. So there's another command, another hotkey, and called the letter T for tape measure. And with a tape measure, I can measure things. So I could like click in the corner and come over to here. And in the bottom, or again, right down here, it's going to tell me how long that line is. Hey, it says that's one foot. Great. Awesome. That's what I wanted it to be. And this is 1 foot. So we can use it to measure things. We can also use it to create guidelines using the tape measure tool. So I'm clicked here in this top left-hand corner. I'm going to go to the bottom right-hand corner and I'm going to click. And it gives me this dotted line across the screen. And that's a guideline. That isn't going to print. It's not really there. It's like invisible. It's just going to help me lay stuff out. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing going the other way. So click, and now I've got an X marked the spot. So there must be some buried treasure right there where those two guidelines intersect. Okay, so again, just instant replay there. T for the there we go. Letter T for tape measure, and I just kind of clicked and dragged there. If you goofed it up, again, another little hotkey, you can hit E for erase, and I can just sort of delete out those guidelines, and they're gone. So if you somehow mess that up, you can delete them and try again. So again, just T, click and click and click and click. All right, there we go. So I've got my X marks the spot. Okay, so if hopefully you've used the dice before and playing some board games, and we're gonna do the one. And so basically the one is just a little circle there in the center. So by doing this, I know exactly where the center is. So we're gonna another hotkey. I want to do a circle, and you can probably guess what the hotkey for a circle is, and it is the letter C. So I am going to click right here. This helps me snap click right in the middle by having those guidelines. So I'm going to click there in the center, click, and just start to move my mouse. I'm not just like with a rectangle, I'm not clicking and dragging. I've just clicked in the center to say, hey, be in the center. And then I'm just moving my mouse. I'm just moving across the screen, not clicking and dragging, just so moving my mouse there across. All right, so what size do I want this to be? We'll make this simple. I'm going to hit a 1, and so it's going to give me a 1-inch radius circle, which is actually going to be, if we measure it with a tape measure T, it should say that it is, yep, 2 inches. Okay, so when we're typing that in, we're doing radius. So I said 1, which is, so that is a 2-inch diameter circle. All right, awesome. So I'm just going to escape and get out of that. Okay, so I'm going to use the O for orbit tool and just orbit this a little bit, kind of put it at an angle, and we'll be able to see this a little better. And what I want to do is, if I was to print this on a 3D printer at this point, we would just have a solid cube. Like these guidelines would not print, and this little line for that circle would also not print. There's just nothing to show up. So I need to create some like depth differences for us to see it. So I'm going to use the push pull tool again. So the letter P for push pull. And I could push this outside in or out, or this circle. So I want to click on the circle. And now, again, I'm not clicking and dragging. I'm just moving my mouse. So it could come out, but that's not how a dice really looks, right? They're really dimples, right? They go in. So I'm just going to kind of move my mouse back so that this sort of pushes in as opposed to pulls out. So I want to push it in. And I'm just going to say, I'm going to hit 1 and just have it be 1 inch deep. That's probably a bit extreme for what we're working on, but it makes it easy to type it in. So again, if I press O, we can kind of orbit around and we can see that, it's definitely got that indentation there. And again, that push pull tool is going to be so much easier. Let me just undo that. If you are looking at it straight on, it is going to be really hard to kind of get that thing to go the right way. So I always just orbit my object a little bit. You don't have to do it much, and it's much easier to kind of grab it and then push or pull it the way you want to go. And I pushed it in, one, enter, and I've got my 1 inch dimple there for that. All right, so that's how we make the one side of the dice. So give that a try, and I'll see you in the next video.